Happy Friday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz. I'm here with Rob, and this is where fans become family. Want to welcome everybody that is spending their morning with us. And I just.
You're only with Rob?
And Donald. I said Donald.
You didn't.
No, you didn't.
With Rob and Donald. And this is the Pitch Strike Chronicles where.
I'm Donald. Really nice to meet you guys. How are you?
Yep. So, yeah, it's definitely a Friday. But it's been a long week, and it's been a slow week on the news market for first baseman. A lot of trade rumors with no traction. I'm kind of getting the feeling like we're really not going to see anything until maybe the second week of January. I think that's where we're at. I think everything's now at a standstill with the holiday right around the corner. But Cashman has worked some magic before, and you never know when he's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. You never know when he's going to pull a gift from under the tree and be like, all right, here you go. Here's one more we forgot about. But I think it would be more likely. A lot of these teams, these players seem to be wanting more of the long-term deals and also the players with qualifying offers. I think that's where the stalemate is now coming into fruition. So I'm going to toss it to Donald, who is here, and get his take on if he feels like this is going to go into hibernation for a little bit for the holiday, or is there one more trick up Cashman's sleeve?
I got distracted by Graham Highlander's post there. Donald, where's your trousers? Oh God, as if I haven't heard that one before. Anyway, let's talk baseball. Lots of stuff on the hot stove, guys. A lot of stuff. So the trade market is very much open, and I think that's where you're more likely to get the best value. So there's been some interesting names that dropped the other day, actually, because I was looking at an update from a man, Passon. And Passon says here, for teams in search of an outfield bat, the Mets' Starling Marte, Cleveland's Lane Thomas, San Francisco's Mike Yastrzemski, and LA's Taylor Ward are there to be had. Other options include the Guardians' first baseman Josh Naylor. Say it from the top decks. Who's available, along with that of San Francisco's Lamont Wade Jr. and Texas Nathaniel Lowe, that is Rob's guy, that further muddies a crowded first base free agent market. There's also Angels utility man Luis Renfigo and Minnesota catcher Christian Vasquez, all available on the trade market. So let's look at some of these names here. Top of my head, Renfigo. I would quite like a Renfigo, actually. This is a guy that's a good utility guy that can hit for average, and his OPS is very decent too. It's just around about in the 760s, 770s, and a guy that hit 300, I believe, in 2023. Top of my head. I quite like Renfigo. I think that's someone that you could pay attention to if you get yourself a big bat at first. Another name I love, Josh Naylor. Love the idea about Naylor. The fact he's available makes it almost a no-brainer because I think that's someone that you really want to go after because that's someone that's going to give you about 90 RBIs. And we need that. We still need another bat. So there's some names there that's of interest. And then, of course, you've got the free agent market. So the free agent market is something there that it's really dependent on where the Yankees think they're at and where we're at. So if the Yankees are, for instance, interested in a short-term deal that can keep flexibility open for Murakami and /Vladdy /Turner next year, I know Turner plays the outfield, but if they want to put all their resources into one bat, those are the major free agents next year. Do they maybe just go short-term? And the short-term options, you're a lot of talk about Goldschmidt. A lot of talk about Goldschmidt on a one-year deal. The Yankees have been linked with him heavily lately. There's a lot of talk about Goldschmidt, but that's someone who's about 36, 37. But he did have a Hall of Fame caliber bat up until this past year. So that name's been linked heavily. Then there's Santana, obviously, but he doesn't provide quite the bat that Goldschmidt does. However, he's insane defensively. He's like one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. So those are kind of the options there on the short term list. Longer term, if you want to get the big bopper in, Christian Walker, you're probably looking at about a 4-year deal for him. But I don't think teams want to go any more than 3 for him. So he's there, and then there's Pete Alonso, and I'm warming to the Pete Alonso stuff. Actually, the more I think about it, he'd probably be in the 5-year range. But if you could get that AAV down, that's not the worst. It's not the worst idea. So those are the kind of names that are going around right now. The other option is that the Yankees go short term at first, and then they maybe go and make a big push for like a Bregman at third base. But we're 2 bats away. We're 2 bats away. How we're going to fill those 2 bats? It's anyone's guess right now.
Rob?
The good thing is there's options and there's a lot of time left. I don't know who they're going for first base. A lot of my choices are still there, thankfully. So the Yankees don't. There's no really need to rush. You just have to factor in if you go with a free agent like Walker or Alonso. There's the qualifying offer stuff, which you're going to lose IFA money. You're going to lose draft picks. The Yankees have already lost 2 draft picks because of signing Fried. They don't want to lose 2 more. But at the same time, the American League has not really upgraded outside of us and maybe Baltimore. So the American League is still ours for the taking. Do you want to wait, make this a transitional year, or do you want to go out and go get it like Cashman said he was? I love the idea of Yandy Diaz. That's a name that wasn't really, I don't think that was in the article, but if he's available, that's a name out there as well. They might have to go trade route the rest of the way through, with the exception of maybe a bullpen arm, like a reunion with Tim Hill. That might be something they do, but the rest of the way, it just could be trades. And I think you can fill all those needs via the trade, because we need a first baseman. I don't think we need a second baseman. Honestly, I'd keep Jazz at third and just let Peraza, Cabrera, Vivas battle it out. And you're pretty much set. And then you just got to figure out to get some lefties in that bullpen, because you have the back end of your bullpen settled now with Weaver to Williams and a healthy Loizaga. You'll have Hamilton. You'll have F. Ross. Mark Leiter was very good in the playoffs. Hopefully that carries over as a middle relief guy. But you get 2 lefties there, and really it's just first base. What do they do at first? That's really the biggest issue right now is, do they go the free agent route? Do they give the 4-year deal to Walker? Do they go with the 1-year stopgap? Do they go all in for a 6-7-year deal with Alonso? Do they trade for a Nathaniel Lowe or a Josh Naylor? There's like 6 or 7 options out there, and they would all be good because we don't have a first baseman right now. So that's the good thing, and Brian Cashman can make those deals happen at the snap of a finger. Brad said it earlier in the chat, and what's up to everybody in the chat? 66 people here already, 10 minutes in, so do us a favor, hit the like, hit the sub, member up if you choose. We're closing in on 1,000. We're only 30 away as of this moment, so let's help us get there. Trying to reach that big 1K before Christmas. It'd be a nice gift. 971. See, speaking you shall receive.
Hey,
so,
speaking into existence. Let's go.
Let's speak it into existence. So yeah, Brad said that Cashman works in the shadows. Before it could be today, it could be the next 10 minutes for all we know. Something could happen with Brian Cashman. He probably will get one more deal done before Christmas, and then it will go quiet, but I think he wants to get first base out of the way before he goes, let's just fill the rest of the roster from the bullpen, or do they make the big push for Sasaki, which seems a lot more realistic now than it did like 2 weeks ago.
Rob, I want to pick up on AOG's comment here. We don't need explosive offense. We lost the World Series with that approach. Do you agree with that?
I think it was more an inconsistent offense.
Well, the issue we didn't lose the World Series because of that. We lost the World Series because we didn't have any fundamentals.
Yes.
We had a third base coach that's sending Giancarlo Stanton when the ball is already halfway to the plate. You had a defense that didn't know what to do. Aaron Judge somehow dropped the pop fly, so I wouldn't blame it on having an explosive offense
There
because
you
like
go.
you need to replace. You got to try to find a way to get some of the lost production back from Soto. Bellinger helps. That's why I'm so high on going with Christian Walker because he gives you both really good offense and really good defense. But I also understand the age thing and the IFA money and all that could work against the Yankees bringing him in.
It was the fundamentals that cost us the World Series. I mean,
Yeah.
it was as simple as that, really. I mean, we didn't really have that much. It wasn't really the fact that we had an explosive offense. I mean, the offense really only started to get kind of explosive in the final game where we went 5-zip up, but then our defense blew it. So it was less to do about the offense and everything to do with the defense. So that has to be something that we need to pay attention to now. We've done the heavy lifting with run prevention so far this offseason. We please need to get some infielders in the building. For the love of God. I quite agree with AOG, though. I think Bregman makes a lot of sense. You stick him at third base, and then there's less priority on a big bat at first. You could go short term at first if we get a Bregman in there.
But it ties into the IFA money stuff, too. Again, do you go with that route, and then you probably cost yourself any shot at Sasaki. But I don't know if the Yankees can afford to wait for Sasaki. I really don't. It's like a month away, and I still think he's a Dodger. You might just have to bite the bullet, but again, the Yankees don't want to lose the picks. I think if they weren't losing picks as well, they probably would have had Alonso or Walker by now, or even Santander, something like that. They just don't want to give up all that stuff again because they've already lost a few for Fried. I think they got something back for Soto, but no, I don't think they got anything back for. I don't know how the hell it works. I think it's stupid either way, the qualifying offer rules. But
Facts, agreed.
They just don't want to give that stuff up. And I'm not an AOG. I'm not saying we have to replace Soto. We have to replace him. They have to try to find some of that production that he's leaving. I'm over the Soto thing. I'm just saying you can't ignore what he was for the offense. You have to try to get some of that back, and that's where Bellinger comes in. You have to hope that Bellinger's bat can produce something close to what Soto was doing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more on the free agent route, or less on the free agent route because of the qualifying offers. Which is why that's why I hate the qualifying offer. It's such a risk. I think sometimes it's more risk than reward because of everything involved that you lose. So I think the trade route would probably be the best way for the Yankees to go. And here it is, Santa Ken once again.
Oh my God, from the top deck.
Gifting another 5 memberships. Ken, you are the GOAT. But I think the trade route is going to be the way to go. I know there's been a lot of talk with Goldschmidt too. I want to circle back to him because it seems to be a mixed bag of emotions with Yankee fans on this.
Okay.
You want the stability of a veteran, but you don't want you don't want the age creeping up on you out of nowhere. So it's how do you balance where you get a guy like Goldschmidt, Bregman, and a lot of the free agents that are left that are available are 30 years old plus. So and they want 7-8 year deals. How much do you really want to invest in those guys when you're trying to also build your farm? So I think it would be more a trade route for guys with maybe a year or two left on their contract where you're really not putting yourself too far behind the ball as these guys get older.
So Graham's asking if Goldschmidt is more red herring or a leverage type deal. So I was listening to our man Jack Curry. Jack Curry is the guy, and he says that talking to Yankee insiders, anyone who didn't catch it, Curry says, talking to Yankee insiders, there's a greater talk within the building of a Goldschmidt rather than the long-term big money Alonsos of this world. Christian Walker's in this world as well, for those who are Walker fans. The Yankees seem more interested in a 1-year type scenario with a Goldschmidt than a longer term scenario with Alonso or Walker for the main purpose that the Yankees are all very much all in on Sasaki. And if you went in on a Walker and Alonso, then you lose IFA money that they need, and they lose the draft picks as well. So that's partly his reasoning for that is why we'd go the short term route with a Goldschmidt. But I'm kind of with Rob. We can't afford to wait, for one. For two, he's still more likely than not going to be a Dodger. And for three, we have the pitching already. We've actually got a set five. We've literally got a set five. In fact, we've still got a sixth man in there, but I think Stroman will be gone. But as of right now, we have five really good rotations already. The best rotation we've had in I can remember, right? Since the early thousands. This is the best rotation we've had since the early thousands. So I think I would, to be honest, I'd probably go longer term. I want a big bat. I really think we need a big bat. I can't help but think it. I'm just looking at this lineup and I think we're really one big bat away. And it depends on your definition of one big bat, but it doesn't need to be a 40, 50 home run type guy, but someone that can drive you 90 RBIs. I think we're that away. We need that type of bat. So I'm not sure if Goldschmidt at 36, 37 years old is going to do that. Even though I'm a big Goldschmidt fan, I mean, it looks like he's got a lot of tread in his tires. It looks like he's kind of on the way out. And Graham's right. Sasaki is a luxury. He's a fantastic luxury, though. Holy shit. I mean, he's going to be an ace caliber starter very soon. If we can get him, oh my God, amazing. But there's a lot to debate.
No, it makes you wonder how much more of a lifeline that Stroman's going to have. And I know they always had that saying you can't have enough pitching. You can't have too many starters in your rotation. But you're not going to have a 6-7 man rotation. So and Stroman's not somebody you're going to want to put into the bullpen. If they do get Sasaki, I think the one that goes to it goes to when we get Sasaki, what happens now with Schmidt in the rotation? Does he become your long man out of the pen with a spot start in case something, as your insurance? That's why I don't think the rotation is something that needs to be focused on. Maybe a lefty or another two pieces in the bullpen, and your pitching is pretty much set because this is one of the better back end of the bullpens we've had. I think in a long time.
So Ken here, let's say a big thank you to Ken again. Keep doing what you all do. March to 1K subs, member for 1 month. Why don't y'all follow in Ken Claus's steps and member up? We've got a lot of exciting things coming up very, very shortly. We've got some new plans coming afoot. We're looking forward to sharing with you guys. This channel is growing. We've already cleared the 100 people in the chat mark. So hit the like button, guys, because I don't believe there's 100 likes yet. In fact, the last time I checked, I think it was around about 19 or 20. So the math ain't mathin', as they say. So let's get the likes up. So everybody do us a solid and do the Yankees a solid because we're talking the Yankees. So let's say a big salute to the New York Yankees and hit the like button for your boys. We're up to 24. Well, we can do better. Come on. 24. Good show, by the way. Good show. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, and hit the membership button.
Yes, and Damien brings up a good point about Warren. I'm not too sure about Warren being a sixth option, but the Yankees do have kids coming up that they can call upon in case they need an extra arm. You can't keep Stroman as a sixth starter, not for $18.5 million. Either you trade him or you put him in the rotation and then you deal Schmidt or something to get a bat, but I think Warren's out the door at this point because there was a report from I think Bill Murray or something said that he's more than likely to be traded at this point. take that for what you will. They should look to move him because it frees up a lot of money in case they do go the free agent route. I like Stroman, but in this pitching market where guys that aren't as good as him are signing for like 20-something million, his 18.5 looks a lot more enticing. So you could probably trade that, maybe if you have to eat a little bit of money. And I agree with Ken here as well. The bench, I'd get DJ the hell out of here. I'd just release him, and I'd bring back Birdie for all we care. Like, just try to get Birdie back on a 1-year deal for maybe a little bit less than he would have got. They're talking up DJ again though. Like, oh, if he's healthy, we need him back to what he was. It's over. It's over. They gotta just say thanks for 2019, 2020, but injuries derailed this guy, because I truly do feel like if he didn't get hurt, he would have definitely regressed, but he wouldn't be this quickly. His regression has been like astronomical, and it's because of the injuries. The guy keeps hurting the same foot. Like, it's almost like there's someone who's got it out for him on a voodoo doll, because they just keep hitting the same goddamn foot, and it's unfortunate. He can't stop getting hurt. But at this point, he's good for nothing but a double play. And he's costing you $15 million. You can get something else for a lot cheaper, and it'll be a lot better.
DJ LeClubfoot.
Yeah, he's DJ LeCook, DJ Le Double Play, whatever you want to call him. It's
sad though, because he was the type of player that we really needed at the time.
Yes.
And the way he played before they renewed his contract. I mean, we were all saying that this is a guy that you need to keep on the team, and there were a number of fans in agreement with that. And then because of the decline because of his injuries, now he's kind of been thrown into this category of being one of the worst Yankee signings ever, which I don't buy into at all. It was a necessary move at the time, and almost like with Rizzo, it was one injury just put everything just on hold.
That's why
they never were able to recover. That's not Cashman's fault for going and getting these players that we were asking them to go get. They fell into an unfortunate circumstance, but they're still here. LeMahieu is still here. He has no use on this team at this point. Just let him go and let Cabrera take his spot as your utility infielder full time.
But that's the risk you take with every free agent, though. It's because anything could happen to anybody at any time. That's why you kind of have to put that out of your mind. Like, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? You can't have, like, remember last year or 2 years ago, we're talking about you can't have a plan A, B, C, D, E for in case Stanton gets hurt. Like, you can't prepare for every single player to get hurt. It's just impossible to do. You'd have to sign every single free agent. But with a guy like DJ, it's been 3-4 years now. He's gotten hurt. Like, he's gotten hurt more than Stanton at this point.
Yep.
And he's been a lot less reliable than Stanton when he's on the field. So 2 years left, I think it benefits you to pay him not to play for you. That's just my feeling. Now, they could keep him, and he's the most expensive bench piece, although with the way the Yankees operate and how much they pay guys, don't be surprised if he's the starting second baseman. Like, that's the way they operate when it comes to the way they pay guys. If he has a somewhat good spring, he's your starting second baseman. That's just the way the Yankees talk him up and how they operate. I hope they don't go that route, but the fact that they haven't cut him yet, it probably makes you think that, oh, he's looking good in his offseason workouts. That's the Yankees for you.
Well, I don't know, because Brian Cashman sometimes loves to send out red herrings, right? So the most recent example was only just a week ago. Caleb Durbin is our second baseman. Oh, he got traded like 24 hours later. How about those that are old enough to remember when he was like Bubba Crosby's our starting center fielder next year? Was he our starting center fielder? No, he wasn't. Not even close. So, it could be a red herring, and it could be that he's just mentioning names just for political reasons. Because there's a lot of reasons why Brian Cashman does a lot of. He's incredibly smart, and he usually plays chess when everyone plays checkers. So he's probably thinking a step ahead. He's thinking, well, I'm going to mention DJ LeMahieu's name, so he's going to work harder with the possibility that, hey, you know what, he might make the team. or he might still be in consideration. So let's get him to ramp up his workouts, and we'll see. So there's usually a plan for everything that Cashman says. He doesn't just say things willy nilly just for the fun of it. So he's mentioned Peraza. He's mentioned Oswaldo Cabrera. He's mentioned those names too. So it wasn't just DJ LeMahieu. He didn't actually say DJ LeMahieu's our starting infielder. He didn't say that by any stretch of the imagination. He just mentioned the list of the infielders that we have. But I don't think that the Yankees are actually seriously planning on that. Again, I really don't. I think that he's just sending out political messaging / red herring. Now, we can go back in time and say, oh, I really wish we didn't extend him. But we can't go back in time. We can only think about the future, right? So, so far, this has been a great offseason. And I've been very, very proud of the way the Yankees have rebounded. I think the Yankees have handled everything with class. There's been a lot of stupid barbs about how they're not a family organization from a bunch of stupid writers that are trying to get in on Soto and all that stuff. But the Yankees didn't rise to it. They didn't get involved in it. They just let it be, and they've been focusing on this offseason. They're doing a very, very good job, and I'm fully behind their plan. And they do have a plan. So the only thing now is that they need one significant bat and then one other bat too. I think they're definitely 2 bats away for me to be very happy. So as I say, you could have Bregman at third, and then you go short term at first, or you go big time at first, and then you maybe fill in third base with a cheap trade like a Renfigo. Well, that wouldn't be a bad option. Or you maybe trust your Perazas, because when else are you going to trust Peraza? But the Yankees so far have been good. The only thing is that the whole Goldschmidt stuff I'm worried about is LeMahieu's about 36, right? Goldschmidt's about 36. Now, not all 36-year-olds are created equal, but Father Time is undefeated. And Goldschmidt looked like he was on the way out last year. I hope it's not the case, because I'm a big Goldschmidt fan. I mean, that dude is legit, like, borderline Hall of Famer. If you look at his numbers, he's been fantastic for a long, 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 long time. Unfortunately, he's reached 36. If he was 34, I'd be like, yes, please, sign him now. Whatever it takes. But unfortunately, he's maybe just a year past his best. And at this point, do we really want to go down that route again? We've already had Rizzo, who looked cooked last year. Can we maybe not get a first baseman who's cooked? I mean, that would be my priority. And I'm starting to think about, all right, well, maybe we sacrifice the Sasaki talk to get Pete Alonso. I'm starting to warm to Pete Alonso. I really am.
No, I'm not opposed to it. I've been steadfast with, look, if they sign him, I'm not going to be pissed off about it. But I don't see him in any other uniform but the Mets until he's in another uniform. I still think that's the route that's going to happen. I think he's going back to Queens. They're just the perfect fit for each other with their energy, and it's starting to seem like the first base situation, the extra year for Walker for 4 years is looking a lot better than Alonso for 8. Because you're not going to lock it. You're not going to lock the position up for more than you really need.
Alonso's a guy that could potentially be a DH option. I mean, we were talking about Aaron Judge being a DH guy in a few years as well. Thing is, Alonso's defense is not good, but it's not as bad as people say it is. His bat's going to be good. It's just you got to worry about the strikeouts. He's not going to hit for necessarily high average, which I really don't care about as long as you're hitting the home. If you're hitting the long ball, you're driving in runs, and you're on base is good. I don't care what your average is really, but it's not like he's Joey Gallo. But again, if we're bringing in a free agent, my preference is Walker, but I understand Alonso would bring a huge bat. I can't see him going anywhere. Tats on somewhere. I can't see him going anywhere but the Mets either. But if the Mets keep waiting, AOG said they're hesitating a little bit. That could force him to sign elsewhere.
Yeah.
And Nicholas, I understand that, but you also can't wait for next season. Because I see a lot of like, oh, get Goldschmidt now, and because I was on that same boat. You get a stopgap for 1 year, and you go after Murakami or Vlad. There's also no guarantee that you're getting those guys. Right now, you can get like five different first basemen right now, or you can wait and hope to get Vlad, which you're probably going to get outbid by the Mets again for next year, especially if they don't bring back Alonso. And then Murakami is definitely a likely option for us because I feel like we'd be a great fit for. He's talked about the Yankees, so I would love Murakami, but it's such a risk saying we're gonna go 1 year on an older guy because we're gonna go get X player next year. There's no guarantee.
No, there isn't. Not in this current market anymore. Like it used to be the case when we were the big bad Yankees that could get whoever we wanted whenever we wanted. This is different. It's a different field now. Now the Dodgers have cornered basically the entire Japanese market. So that's a concern. There's teams that have guys like Vlad who has been openly saying that he'd rather die than come back than be a Yankee. And Vlad has actually vocally said that. Now, do I think that if money talks and he'd come to the Yankees? Yeah, I do. But he did vocally say it. He hates the Yankees. He wants nothing to do with us. So I wouldn't necessarily put all your eggs in that basket. You wouldn't put all your eggs in the Tucker basket because he's a Cub right now. And right now the Cubs will be the favorites for him because he's going to spend a year in Chicago. Maybe he's blown away by what Chicago has to offer. It's a beautiful city. So there's a possibility there too. So yeah, we're not exactly guaranteed. I mean, if you look at between Tucker, Vlad, and Murakami, Murakami's more likely than the other two. Vlad's vocally said he doesn't want to be a Yankee. Plus, the Mets will offer whatever it takes to get him. And then we have Tucker, who I want the most of the three, but right now he's contracted to another organization. So I don't know if we can look too far ahead. Right now, you don't want to keep doing this, by the way. You don't want to just keep going another year down the line, a year down the line, a year down the line. You go to Aaron Judge, and he's not getting any younger, I'm afraid, guys. And you're not guaranteed that he's going to go and hit 58 home runs again this coming year. That might be it for him. He might be a 40 home run dude now. So maybe you need to get him some more support now while we still have it. We just come off a World Series. The American League right now, this year, is looking kind of weak. So that is something the Yankees can attack now. We don't know what's going to happen a year from now. Maybe the American League team is going to go and just erupt like the Orioles. But right now, this is a good window. This is a good window right now where the American League is extremely weak. That if the Yankees were a bit more aggressive, get a big bopper in there to partner Stanton and Judge, with that rotation that we have right now, you don't want to just keep going a year down the line with this. Like, you got Garrett Cole, who's not getting any younger. Max Fried is he's not 25. He's about 30 as well. So, I mean, these guys, you don't know what's going to happen 12 months from now. You got this window right now. Let's try and be aggressive now. Let's talk this free agency, this offseason, this trade market, and see if we can build a team that can win a World Series now. Forget 12 months from now. We could deal with 12 months in 12 months. Right now, we've got this option. Let's look at this current market. Let's see if we can build the best possible team we possibly can.
It's either way. There's a risk involved with anybody you sign. I think the best route to go is really just to first base. I'm not worried about third base, but I would still try to get, if you're going to have to go long term, like multiple years, just give the fourth year to Christian Walker, bring him in and just move forward. If they're able to get a 1 year deal with Santana and you want to take the gamble next year on a Vladdy and a Murakami, then I don't think that is the wrong way to go either. But there's a risk either way. If you give the fourth year to Christian Walker and you're not able to have it like a team option, then you might have a guy that that you're going to have a year more than you wanted to, or you take the risk of not getting any of the first base free agents next year. Because, we've already seen that teams are willing to kind of, we have a team right across town now with very deep pockets. The Dodgers, when it comes to the farm, the Japanese players, they're not shy about throwing money around, and they're very creative with it. So I don't think it's a guarantee that the Yankees are a lock like we used to be, like you said, for any of the free agents. That's why I've kind of circled back around the Walker. I think that Walker would be the fit.
There's people bringing up the fact that, they can just move Bellinger to first base next year, but what if he has a really good year and opts out? Yep. That I just saw Graham's comment there that ideally he's back next year, and you go like, okay, we can go all out for a am I related to Patton Oswalt? No. I liked him in that movie Big Fan where he played a crazy Giants fan, but no, I'm not related to him. So I don't think I am. Anyway, if they want to go all in for Kyle Tucker next year and Bellinger's back, they can put Bellinger at first. That's why a stopgap this year could make sense. That's assuming Bellinger doesn't have a great season, which we'd be like, he's not that good. Now we got to hold him for another year. You want him to be, almost in a crazy way, you want him to have such a really good year that he opts out. Because that would mean he was so good this year that the offense was great and we probably went far again, maybe back to or even win a World Series, and then he opts out and gets a bigger contract. It's like, well, that was a worthwhile trade. But if he's not as good, then he's probably got to opt in. There's some weird things going on there. So you can't bank on next year because you don't know if Bellinger's back. You don't know if you're going to get Tucker. You don't know if you're going to get Vlad at Murakami. As much as I would love to get one of those guys, there's no guarantee. So you probably have to go with the trade, or you have to bite the bullet on an Alonso or a Walker. So I'm not really too sure where they go. It's just a lot of so many different options. That's the good thing, though. Cashman has 100 different ways he can go, and there's still plenty of time to get it done because if they're not pitchers. The good thing is we can sign one of these guys like before the spring, and they're not going to lose too much playing. Like they're not going to lose too much ability. We saw it last year. That's disrespectful.
That is disrespectful as shit. I am not having anybody disrespect my brother.
That's disrespectful.
That is disrespectful. You ain't doing that to my brother Rob. No.
Disrespectful, man.
You don't want to piss off my brother Rob as well. He takes zero shit. Right. Warning. That's a warning. It's a kind warning to Teal. He takes zero.
Look, we could take a good joke over here, so I ain't gonna be mad at that. But I saw that, I was like, I had to think about his face, and I was like, I know we're both short, but I don't know if I look like him. I'm not shaving. I'm not gonna shave to try to figure it out, though. I'll tell you that much. I've been told they look like John Boy and Patton Oswalt. I don't know. Someone's got to find a lane.
John Boy is a better compliment than Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt walked past me at Grand Central, and that dude looked homeless, brother. He was like wearing with sweats with like holes in it, and he was he just looked awful, man. So I was like, damn, he's just giving up on life, this dude. So you cannot say that about my brother Robinho. He ain't nah. Maybe John Boy. John Boy's better.
You're all good, man. You're all good.
That's about it.
You're all good, man. Trust me, I get it. It's all jokes. Trust me.
There's one thing that Nick brought up, and a couple of people in the chat have, and that's the rumors that Santander is going to be signed by the Yankees any day now, which I've learned over the years it's not done until it's done. But he's a guy that I have not had on my radar. I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but he's all bat, no glove. And that's not what the Yankees need. That's not going to help the fundamentals at all. So I'm hoping that the Santander rumors are completely false. And I think they already have. Yep.
Thank you, Stevie B.
I think they already have their outfield set. I don't think the outfield's where they need to go any further. What do you guys think about this whole Santander bullshit?
Well, where are these rumors coming from?
I don't. They were saying in the chat. I saw a couple. Believe me, nobody reliable on social media, but it did come up in the chat a couple times.
Well, I mean, whoever put it in the chat, you can tell us where you got the information from, because if it's from like Hector Gomez, then I'm going to throw that rumor out of the window. But
Yeah.
if it's from an actual reliable source, then maybe you can look into it, because we've heard a lot of connections to Santander. You can play him in left. It'd be a risk, but you can play him in left, and you can put Bellinger at first, so you can have Santander play first. Not very good. No matter where you put the guy, he's not going to be a good defender.
Yeah.
But you're going to get like 35 home runs out of him for at least for the next few years. But you worry about, can he repeat that? That's the thing. I don't know. Until we get some like actual reporting on it from someone who's not Hector Gomez or whoever this may be. Is it one of those like MLB scoop sites? Because I don't want to listen to any of that nonsense either.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's not
Venezuelan online newspaper. Oh, well. Maybe. I don't know. Until I see it from Curry or Passan, I'm not going to go crazy on it.
And our statistician, Jonathan, is saying that we are now at 974 subs. So that we are now 26 away from the 1K goal for the holiday. So let's keep the support building. Look, the defense and the fundamentals, base running, reading the ball off those are the things that really send the whole season off the rails. So that's where they need to, really put all their focus in. But they also have to be able to, they need the contact bat. They don't need the power bat. They need to keep the line moving. When you get a guy up, and you're down 3-4 runs, you don't need a home run. That one run isn't going to do anything. It might spark the guys behind them, but you want to keep the line moving and keep everything rolling along. You want to be able to score, multiple runs in an inning, not just one. So I think the all or nothing, swing like a Santander just does not fit with what the Yankees are trying to do.
If the plan was to try to replace Soto in the aggregate, as the Moneyball says, then yes, Santander would make sense. But I don't think. Yeah, there's been nothing really connecting the two. There's been some rumblings that they've been interested in him as a plan B, but I feel like Bellinger was their top choice as a plan B to Soto, and now it's just about finding an actual first baseman. They need to go with a good defensive first baseman. If Jazz is staying at third, unless they go get a third baseman and a first baseman, which I don't see happening, unless they pull off a trade. So maybe they pull off a trade with Tampa Bay for Diaz and Lau, and they can put Lau at second. That's why I wanted Nico Horner so bad, because we would need a good defensive first baseman if the rest of your infield was sound defensively.
Yeah. What about trading for Luis Renfigo?
There was connections to him last year, but he got hurt. He's a great hitter. Probably lead off if you get him.
Yeah.
But the Angels are trying to go for it this year.
Oh, they're not.
I mean, they're the only team in the West that's actually been aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the fact that his name was mentioned by Passan as being available in a trade, that's probably as good a source as any that we could have him. That could be your leadoff guy. That could be someone that you can stick at third base. And that's your leadoff guy. He'll bat you 290, 300, and play decent defense. And also he steals bases as well. He's athletic. I wouldn't dismiss Renfigo. I think you could probably get him reasonably cheap, the utility guy that he is. I don't think he's going to cost him an arm and a leg, and
Couldn't.
that means that all we need to do is now just get a bat that can hit 25 plus home runs, and then your lineup's set.
I'd be fine with it. I talked about him a lot at the deadline. I thought he would have been a perfect target,
Yeah,
but he got hurt, and then they decided not to trade him. He's on a rental, so it depends on what the Angels are trying to do, because they could trade him and try to get like a replacement for him in that trade. Like, let's just say Peraza went in that deal. Peraza could start for them. But I'm not saying they're going to go try to win a World Series, but the West is wide open. And they've been the only aggressive team, really. So unless they get a really good offer for him, they could probably wait till the deadline for him. He might be more of a deadline guy. If they fall out of it, which is entirely possible because it's the Angels, so they could wait till the deadline to make some trades.
John S says Vlad is close to re-signing with the Blue Jays. Well, if that's the case, then Vlad's agent needs to be fired on the spot.
I don't think that. No, I don't know
it-
where there's truth to that though. Again, I'm not seeing anything from that. Like, these are
No.
just.
No, the
No.
only thing I saw yesterday was it was a notification from the MLB app that Toronto has no plan this season on trading Vlad. I think they're going to keep him for the season and try to entice him to extend. But as far as a contract, there's been nothing about that.
It makes no sense.
I think it was that the Blue Jays took him off they're not going to put him on the market to trade.
They're saying it's
That's
talks.
much different.
They're not saying it's close. They're saying there's talks about another extension.
I mean, his agent needs to be shot. I mean, could you imagine the amount of money that he's going to make in 12 months' time with the Mets involved, maybe even the Yankees? I mean, even if he does go back to the Blue Jays, I mean, I can't see why he would do it a year in advance. But of course, he's not a mercenary like Soto, so you never know.
I mean, if the Yankees were able to pull off a trade for a Vlad, I've switched positions on that. He was a guy I hated. But at the same time, because it was in the division, I've said it before. He was my favorite villain. But if he's on my team now, I'm not going to complain. But it's going to be an expensive contract. I think Graham is right. I think Vlad is going to cost north of $450. I could see that. I could definitely see that. So,
Isn't he the same age, or is he younger than Soto? But they're like around the same age. The dude's gonna get 500, I think. If he has another season like last year, he's getting like 500 million.
I mean, I have a family member, and you guys could probably take a guess on who it is, that said that the Mets should give him the same contract that Soto just got. So because it's all this unlimited money that the Mets have. They could afford
they can afford it. They can afford it.
Yep.
That's the thing. They can afford it and stay under the tax threshold. They're actually operating very smart. They've made some smaller moves outside of the Soto deal, but they're waiting for the market. They don't have to rush. They have like 50 some odd million to play with. And they don't have to. They might not even care about going under the tax this year because it's his own tax. It's Steve Cohen's tax. He might not care about it. So they're waiting for the prices to hit where they want it to be. You notice they haven't overspent for a starting pitcher yet.
Dude, they don't have a starting pitcher.
I'm just saying, but look at who's available to them. They can go get Flaherty if his price drops. Patrick Sandoval to the Red Sox. Is that breaking news, or if that's just
passing?
Patrick Sandoval. That's like Li's favorite pitcher now. Thank God he's a Boston Red Sox.
No, it's well documented that Vlad said something in the realms of saying he'd rather be dead than sign for the Yankees. He said that a couple of years ago, and then I think his agent or he like kind of walked off of that like a year or so later, but he did actually say that.
Yeah, he was going down the Ken Griffey Jr. route, but he changed it this past year. That's why a lot of people like myself are like, hey, let's make a run at him. But it'd be a free agency. They're not going to trade him to the Yankees. We can sign
Yes.
him, sure. Money talks, no matter what people say, unless you're Ken Griffey Jr. But money if the Yankees offered him 500 plus million, I think he would come to the Yankees. Remember,
Yeah.
Max Scherzer did not want to be a Met, and they offered him 40 million a year. He said, "Okay, I'll do it."
Yep.
Exactly.
Money talks. Right?
Money
What
talks.
did DiBiase say? Everybody's got a price.
Right. Just give Soto a throne and a personal clothes designer for his mom, and he's a Met.
And the other thing with the Mets with pitches, their GM David Stern does not like giving out long-term deals to pitches. He does not like going more than 3 or 4 years. Otherwise, I think they would have had Burns already. I think they would have been a little more heavy on the pitching market if they didn't want a lot, because he doesn't believe in pitches after 3 years. So that's also slowing down their building up their pitching staff. But they have plenty of money to build up everywhere else.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get Alonso back, I think. Because they kind of need him. They're outside of Soto and Lindor, and maybe Nimmo. Well, no, Vientos is good. They got a decent offense for sure, especially, with Soto. But you put Alonso in that lineup, that's a very good lineup. But their pitching is very suspect. Let's not forget they're going to use Clay Holmes as a starter. So good luck with that.
That's gonna go great. I can't wait to watch that disaster.
No, but you have to remember that the Mets are a pitching factory. Look at all the pitches they fixed last year and the contracts they got.
And that abomination on WFAN who said that Clay Holmes is a better starter than Max Fried.
Okay, all right. I didn't want to bring it up because we usually don't talk about that on this channel. But oh my God, well, how stupid! How stupid a statement could that be?
The morons that they're hiring now.
Are we surprised that somebody from WFAN said something stupid?
No.
We have 120 people in this chat right now, and I want 120 people to answer that question for me. Are we surprised that somebody who works at WFAN said something stupid? Let's not forget, this is the same place that employs Sal Licata and Brandon Tierney and Tiki Barber. This is the same company that allows one of their guys to have a reporter come on their show and disrespect him and then laugh at him after the fact. This is WFAN. Are we surprised that they're saying anything stupid? No, that's what they're paid to do. You want to know what the hiring process is for WFAN? Are you smart? No, you're hired. Welcome to WFAN. Fuck that company.
Mic drop.
That's it. It's sometimes these sports talks, on the radio, a lot of them it's just entertainment at this point. But it's sometimes you got to shake your head. And yeah, D-Rob, believe me, there's a lot of stupid stuff on YouTube too. Not here, but maybe some other areas. Look, everybody's gonna have a bad take here and there, but sometimes it's like, do you hear yourself?
I think they paid them to have bad takes. They're
think
paying
so,
them
too.
to get clicks. We're just regular people. We can have if we have stupid opinions. Well, we're just fans. The WFAN, these are professionals that are supposed to get paid to say things that are supposed to engage talks, but they're just saying stupid shit constantly. It's a huge difference between people that are on an actual network and then are just doing content creation. Like, there's a huge difference there. Trust me, I've said some stupid shit over the 4 years of this show. I'm not gonna hide from it. Everybody has. No one has been right about every single thing they've said. But WFAN, they're the kings of it. They make a living off of it.
It's name and shame time, and his name is Tommy Legauer. Name and shame. Shame.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Hey, come on. I actually had to turn my radio off at that point. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this today.
Morons. A moron would say that someone who has the best ERA in the major since 2020 is going to be worse than Clay Holmes.
Yeah, Brad.
It's
I think you're right, Brad. He would be the next hire. So because that I can see 100%.
No, he actually hates WFN as well, so I don't think he would do that.
So before we close off, let's do a bet, right, or a prediction. Will the Yankees have a first baseman before Christmas? Let's put it in a vote. Yes or no? Let's start with Rob.
But we got 5 days. No. I think it's going to be after the new year.
Okay.
Hope I'm wrong, though.
Uncle TT.
Yeah, no, I still I said it earlier. I don't see any moves really anywhere. Never mind the Yankees, specifically getting a first baseman. I don't see it before Christmas. I think it's going to be like a week after the new year. That's when everything's going to pick back up.
The only thing that could happen before Christmas would be a Goldschmidt on a 1 year, 10 to 15 mil. They could probably get that done today if they really wanted to. I hope they don't. There's no need to rush. The entire market is open. So let's not just jump. Let's just wait to see how things play out. Maybe some of the prices drop, and maybe we wait it out. So my answer to that would be I hope not. So I think it's a no as well. And judging by everybody in the chat, Craig says it depends on Sasaki. Well, Sasaki isn't going to make a decision until January 14th or 15th. So it won't be that. Everyone else says no. So yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's a universal no. But you never know. Maybe the Yankees want to get it done quick, get a first baseman in there before Christmas. But I think that's the most likely move that they make, if they're to make one at all. But I think that the smart call would be to wait it out until January and see what kind of the prices are looking at in the trade market and free agency. What is up, Marshall Brown?
Yeah, I'm looking at Craig Smith's comment. Do we really think that Schmidt is on the market? I don't think so. They'd have to really. I think that'd be the Yankees would have to be given an offer they can't refuse to move on from Schmidt.
Well, it depends if they get Sasaki or if they decide if nobody wants Stroman, and the only way to get a first baseman via trade was to give up Schmidt. Like, let's just say Nathaniel Lowe, you need to give up Clark Schmidt for him. Would you do that? 3 years of Schmidt for 2 years of Lowe, or is it for a trade for? Is he involved in a trade for Josh Naylor, who I think might be a rental, but I'm not 100% sure. Do you go that route? Because you're going to have to give up something to get one of these players. And Texas needs pitching. Bad.
Well,
I don't know if they'd give up
Stroman.
For Naylor?
No,
or for Josh. Texas doesn't want to take on that much salary, though.
Yeah.
They'd be taking on about $8 million there. And they just signed Evaldi to a big deal. Schmidt would be very enticing to them.
Yeah.
Brett says he drives Schmidt to Texas for Nathaniel Lowe.
I think he would have to make that move.
Well, Rob's a big Lowe guy. I like Lowe too a lot. Lowe's really good. Good defense. Someone that can hit for average. Well, near average. Around the 260 euro. Which nowadays is batting for average.
Oh, Sean's bringing up an interesting trade. Schmidt, Warren, Peraza to the Rangers for Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Young. Is it Young or is it Jung? I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but
I think it's pronounced Young.
Is it Young? Yeah. Yeah, the Kens bring up the same thing. Texas is not trading him. Would they trade Ezekiel Duran back? You think we can get him?
He was great.
Because he's kind of coming. I think he's coming off the bench for them. Because Berger's going to have to start somewhere for them. They still have Lowe for now. They have Simeon and Seager, and they also have Josh Smith, So yeah, they have a bunch of options. I don't want to trade Clark Schmidt, but right now he's our number 5 starter. If we had to replace him with Stroman and we were able to get a first baseman and a second baseman in that trade, I don't think it's going to happen that way, but if we had to, and then maybe just sign like another depth starter, like do they then turn around and go get Walker Buehler for like a 1-year deal with an option and still trade Stroman? They can do that.
Yeah, I don't think that's the worst case scenario at all.
And I get what D-Rod's saying though. Because if you trade Schmidt, then you probably have to either keep Stroman or sign somebody else. Because the next ready guy would be Beater, but they probably use him out of the bullpen.
Yeah,
Hampton's
I
not
don't
ready
know
yet.
Warren as a starter. Maybe try to get Warren out. Move on from him.
Schmidt should only be available if we get Sasaki. But we're not going to find out about Sasaki until January 14th or 15th. Can we afford to wait that long?
Well, if they don't trade Nathaniel Lowe by then why not? But it's still a risk, though, because I seriously do not think we're going to get Sasaki. I hope we do. I don't think we're getting.
It's not as unlikely as it was like a week or so ago. I mean, Sasaki met with the Mets yesterday. He's due to meet with the Yankees within the next 24 hours. So, the Yankees are putting together a big-time pitch, and they've been very open about the fact they want Sasaki. So, I don't think it's as unlikely as you think. I mean, yeah, go to the Dodgers and be a 5th starter / 6th starter, or go to the Yankees and be a potential ace. I mean, he'd be literally the Mets' only starter in the rotation if he joined the Mets rotation. So I don't know if it's necessarily a lock that he goes to the Dodgers. I'd say it probably is, but it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
No, there's a multitude of situations, trades, and all that we can go over. It's really a wait and see. But we'll find out. There's still a long ways to go.
I don't think his name's Katsu. I think his name's Matsui. But Tanaka should be on the pitch. Well, I mean, he was a huge fan of Tanaka. Huge fan of Tanaka. We know that. But yeah.
But that is
I
good.
don't know if Katsu can.
I think we need to get Ken's phone and change and get that autocorrect fixed.
Yeah,
Cat suit is diabolical.
How does Cat suit come up on his autocorrect? Because it wouldn't come up on mine. I can guarantee. I can guarantee it would go over mine. Ken, I don't know what freaky shit Ken's into.
But that is going to wrap things for us up for this week. Do hope that everybody enjoyed the interactions in the chat and the discussions. We enjoyed it thoroughly. So just make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out with everybody you know. This has been Pinstripe Chronicles with Rob, myself, and Donald. This is where fans become family. So just remember, wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.